Okay, let us go. So any questions that you have, myself and Rob are basically delivering on this. So we'll give a quick intro as to who we are and what we do. If you have any questions along the way, we have questions at the end and we're more than happy to go through all of those that you have, but there's a Q&A section down the bottom. If you can put your questions in there, this is a very busy webinar. We're expecting around 100 people to attend. So if you're popping your hellos and your weather and all of those things, and it's mingled in with questions, we might miss it in the chat. So there's a Q&A section right down the bottom. Click on that, pop your question in there, and then we will get to that at the end. Okay, let us move off. So where am I? Who are we? So I am Jill O'Herlihy. I'm Head of Customer Success, and I have been working with GivePanel for a very long time now, the longest time. And I basically help our customers to get the most amount of success that they can from the platform. And I work very closely, and I segue with Rob and his team, who basically help develop the product and make it better and easier and faster for the customers. So Rob, tell people who you are.
Hello, I'm Rob. I've been at GivePanel for a couple of years. I am a self-proclaimed charity geek. I've worked at lots of different charities in the UK. I love all things charity. So I used to be a fundraiser, and I just ran the London Marathon for Parkinson's UK, if you're here. So yeah, I'm a big charity fundraising person. Back to you, Jill.
Excellent, excellent. So we're just going to jump straight into it. So this is what's happening today, so you all know. So this is all about segmented email and the email journey that's built into GivePanel that you all know, and hopefully we'll love a lot more once we're finished this. So we're going to set the scene, the why are we doing this? What's email all about? Why is it so fantastic? We're then going to dig into the segmented email journeys, the who, what, where, and when. Bonus one, which will be delivered by Rob. And I believe he's going to sort of do a bit of tromboning us into that section. He's going to go into report builder updates. And then bonus two, we'll have even more tromboning, talking about Zapier integration. And then we'll move into basically all the good bits, how to get involved, how to find out more, and then your question and answers. So do remember to pop your Q&A into that Q&A section so that we can find your questions fairly easily. Right, without further ado, this is over to you, Rob.
So email has been a big part of GivePanel since I've been here. It was built by like from the beginning, we built email into our tool, and we were constantly reviewing this. Why do we need to build email into GivePanel? And it's really clear, like everyone has email. It's one of those things that we should always bake into our communications journey. It's very accessible, so not like WhatsApp or something where not necessarily everyone's got it. It's something that you can be more confident that everyone will have. It always drives results, provides a really strong ROI when using it as part of your campaign. And using it, especially like as the first response, someone signs up, it's always been a really effective communication tool for that. So we've always been asking ourselves, should we keep building email into our tool? And every time we put out any kind of feedback or questionnaire, everyone's like, yes, we love GivePanel email. It means that we can just keep it inside, you know, their team. They can set things up quickly and build it in. And so we've been asking people more recently, well, what else can we do with email? What else can we do to improve it? And overwhelmingly the feedback was like, we want to be able to target people based on donation amounts and certain actions or behaviors that they've taken, be that they've raised a certain amount, they've raised their first donation, they've hit the target. We want to be able to set triggered emails, because we know that all of you probably use other email tools, and you've come accustomed to the ability to kind of segment your emails out now into different journeys. So we wanted to do that as well, and that's what we've done. And that was based primarily on your feedback, you saying email's great, it's really simple to use, but we need it to do a bit more. So that's what Jill's going to show you today.
This is a picture of Rob thinking and wondering what we should do, how we're going to do it, what the planning is. So this is basically what happens to Rob when he's building all of these things out. So let us dive into it. Again, we have an hour for this session. We may not need the full hour. You might get a bit of time back, and I know we're all super busy at the moment. So if we can do that, happy to do that. But let's jump in, and again, questions into the Q&A as well. So what is it? As Rob said, you spoke We listened, and we have now built this out. Email, GivePanel email is still in beta, so just to flag that. So there will be some. It won't be open to everybody. You'll basically need to apply for this, and we'll show you how to apply for that at the very end. So let me bring you through. So automated journeys with real-time donations. So as you know, when you're using the one-click feature, the Facebook fundraiser feature, you will see real-time donations coming in for all of your Facebook challenges. So what we can do at the moment is trigger by day. And now what we're introducing is being able to trigger by target. And that will also display different labels, so you'll know exactly, if you've used our email journey before, you'll know that the labels will display as to when they are triggered, and we now have these triggers put in place for targets. So I'll bring you through what it looks like as well. So the target triggers will include no amount raised. So those zero raised fundraisers, those ones are the important ones that you need to reach out to more so than anybody else. It's great to be able to cheerlead those who are doing really well, to cheerlead them on, but the ones that haven't raised yet, it's really important to let them know that you see them, that they're visible to you, that you want to help them. Is there anything you can do? So to have access to actually email these fundraisers now by a zero raised is going to, I think, be super impactful. The other targets that we have then put in there are 50 raised so far, 100 raised so far, 500 raised so far. And then you can also add in a custom amount. Different challenges, different customers set their target raised at different amounts for a whole load of reasons. So what we don't want to do is to shoehorn you into 50, 100 or 500. We want you to have the flexibility to figure out what that looks like when you're actually emailing your customers. So your triggers as well will be matched to your account currency. What you'll see here in this version, everything is in dollars because we just wanted to keep it as one currency. So everything is in dollars. But if you live in Euroland, it will be in euro. If you live in the UK, it will be in pounds. So you'll see everything everything will basically be matched to that currency where you live. And then there will also be additional reporting and stats available. So let us jump into what you can see. So this is what you're used to seeing at the moment. So can I get a yes in the chat who is currently using our email journey as it stands at the moment, which is still in beta, but we're moving on to the next one. And if you're not, just give us a no. So it's kind of a resounding yes we're seeing there, which is great. Rob, yes, we have one no. Dean, oh no. Lola says no. Leanne says no. Constance, so a few no's. Cara says no, so I haven't started using it yet. Not yet. We like not yet. Excellent. So hopefully this will help you get on board with email. So at the moment, this is what it looks like. You basically can trigger from how many days after, and the trigger can be after registration, before event start date, after event start date, before event start date, after event start date, all of these things. So you can basically say 2 days before event start date, you want to do a huge cheerleading email that's like, hey guys, we've got 48 hours before we start. Has everyone got their fundraiser set up? Everyone got everything that they need, etc. And that email can go out. And then you can match them based on it to everybody. So email to everyone, whether or not they are matched to a fundraiser or whether or not they are not matched to a fundraiser. So if they're not matched to a fundraiser, just to help everyone in the room, if they're not matched, it means they've registered and not set their fundraiser up yet. So you can send an email to them that says, hey, we see you haven't set your fundraiser up yet. If you would like to do that, here's the link to set up your fundraiser. But you don't want to send that email to someone who's already set up their fundraiser. So that's why we have those triggers in there. So this is what you're used to seeing. The only change that you're seeing here is you'll see up the top, you have days or target. So now we have the new email trigger, which is target. So it's set up in the same way. You write the emails, you basically build it out in exactly the same way, but you just have this to trigger to move from days. You can build out your days email journey and your target email journey, and they will all slot in with each other and can run concurrently as well. So these are the triggers that you can use. I've gone through it with you before. So we're looking at no amount raised. So that's your $0 or £0, 50, 100, 500, or a custom amount. And what you can do now is you can see these labels clearly. So you can basically see that it's a target email rather than a day's email. The amount is 100 raised so far. So if you change that to target amount 0 raised so far, it would go to all the people who have only raised 0. So we have made an integration with the email and your dashboard that we can see who has raised 0, who has raised 50, who has raised 100, who has raised whatever your custom amount is. Hopefully that all makes sense so far. And then what we're seeing here as well, which is amazing, you've all been sort of crying out for stats for quite some time. So I am delighted that you're going to be able to see the stats down the bottom. We know that these emails perform very well. And a large part of the reason that they perform so well as well is because of the way we sort of coach you to write these emails. So a lot of people come in and they have marketing teams that come in or comms teams that come in and they want to rewrite these emails. These emails have been built. We obviously have templates and we can share these templates with you if you don't have them already. We have templates that we know works. They're supposed to be short, sweet. They're all in HTML. They're literally like an extension of nearly a text message, but it's arriving into the email. And the beauty of this is that the email address that we're using is the email address that we've captured on our registration form. And what's on the registration form? The t-shirt. So they all want the t-shirt, so they all give their current email address that they want you to contact them on in case there's a delay in their t-shirt. Whereas in the lead gen form, they give the email that's connected to their Facebook page. So this email is actually being delivered to a live email, more or less, for the majority of people that are filling in this form. We've got some questions coming in. Natasha, would you be able to pop that into Q&A so I don't lose it? That would be brilliant. So what you're going to see in the email stats is email sends, how many they're going to be, emails delivered, so you'll get a percentage, plus you'll get the actual number, the percentage for opened, and then the percentage for clicked as well. So this is something that's brand new. You haven't been able to view this. It's been behind sort of a smoke screen. So now you'll be able to see all of that as it comes in. So we're wondering where segmented email journeys can be used. So where would I use it? What would I use it for? So we've spoken to you. We have our own ideas. So this is where I want you to start thinking. I'm going to ask a question in the next slide. And if you could actually just get your phones ready, because you'll have to just snap a QR code and answer it. But one option is Celebrate. So to celebrate a supporter when they've reached a fundraising target with a personalized email. So it can be, let's say, if you're sending a medal out to everybody who reaches £100. So that's a perfect opportunity to use that to send that email. The other one is to encourage. So again, I mentioned at the beginning, we want as many active fundraisers as we can possibly have in every challenge to increase our return on investment so we can actually get these people raising money. So an encouragement email to all those zeros to kickstart their fundraising with a self-donation or with something else. Like this is, again, the world is your oyster, and we're all going to learn together as to how people use this function best and what works best as well. So this is kind of like a learning pool as well, because we have ideas, but you guys probably have the best ideas. And then we have advise. So advising on how they can reach their next fundraising target or a reward goal. I mentioned there the medal. So using it to incentivize, hey, you've just reached the 50, if you've just raised over £50, next £50 gets you a medal, or next £50 gets you a certificate, or whatever that might be. So if you could all get out your phones and you can basically scan this QR code. And what I want to know is what, well done, Rob. Yes, very good, very good. What you would use segmented email journeys for. Just some ideas that you might have. I would love you to do that as you put in the answers. And by the way, tell me in chat if it's not working. As you put in the answers, the answers will appear. So we have a few people coming in. There's one answer: encouragement, excellent. Driving up engagement, nurturing the relationship. So if it goes big, it means a few people are saying the same thing. Targeting milestones to motivating. Yeah, brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. The more we have here, the better, because what we can do is at the end of this, we'll share this slide as well. We'll include this slide at the end. So it might give some ideas to some people on what they can do. Reminders of the main goal. Interesting. Yeah. Anything there jumping out at you, Rob, as something that sort of you didn't think of?
I always, well, I don't forget, but thanking, I think thanking is so important as a fundraiser, isn't it? And I've just seen it there and I'm like, yeah, absolutely. The thanking in real time is a really good point, I think, because
Yeah.
you're trying to always do that in the moment thing, aren't we? So that's a really good idea.
Yeah, VIP journeys as well. Interesting. So a VIP would be categorized as someone raising above X, probably. I'm assuming there. Milestone celebrations, advice, yeah. Increase regular donations. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Keep them coming. Care. Love it. So encouragement is the main piece that came in, because that's highlighted. Personalization, driving up engagement. And that's the thing, these emails are personalized. So when you write these emails, they're to first name from whoever is in the organization. You write the emails in yourself and you build them in yourself. And we can add all sorts of different short links in as well. So we can direct them straight to their fundraiser. So we can basically add a short link in, they'll click on it and it'll bring them straight to their fundraiser. So if you were basically trying to get them to raise more to get to the next target limit, you can do that and use the link that will bring them straight to it. Activation, yeah, activation I think is a big thing. I think if I was sitting on the other side of the table, I would be rubbing my hands at the prospect of being able to target by email to the zeros. Because the only other ways that we've been targeting zeros at this up till now has been in the group where you're talking en masse to everybody, and then in the on-page messaging when you're delivering that direct on-page messaging onto the fundraiser. So to have another option that's segmented, I think is great. Okay, thank you very much. That's a lot of information there, and it will certainly help us sort of figure out what we could dive into as well. So who can access and when? So all GivePanel customers now have access to this. There is no additional cost. And this is the official beta launch, so you will be able to apply today. So anyone that has a challenge running or planning a challenge, you can basically get this email journey set up within GivePanel. And I just want to mention this email journey is just tied to events created in GivePanel. So you can't use this email journey for your birthday fundraisers. We do on our fundraiser forms, if you're for the organic fundraisers, the non-challenge fundraisers, we have that one email, that immediate email that comes from hitting the submit button on the fundraiser form. If you're messaging your fundraisers and adding in that data collection form, there is the option underneath to send one email, which is a nice piece with the success message and then the email. But this particular email and the segmentation applies to anything that is set up as an event, which is more than often a Facebook challenge. So do we want to dive into some questions now before we go into this bit, maybe, Rob?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Okay, hold on. Let me open up the questions. Q&A. Okay. Is this for people who opted in on the form? So this email goes to anybody that provides their email address as part of the form fill. So because it is only about the Facebook challenge, we're not marketing to them outside of this challenge. The only information that we're putting in this email, and that's why our email template helps so much, because it keeps you on the straight and narrow. So you are emailing them about the Facebook challenge, and they can opt out of this email journey, which is super important, because what you don't want to do is, well, what I would have found when I worked in Mental Health Ireland was putting everyone into the one email journey meant if they opted out of one, they were gone from everything. But with this email journey, they're opting out of the specific communication about this challenge, and that's very clearly written in the unsubscribe button at the bottom. And you too can see all of the unsubscribes. Can I go back? Hold on, where am I? You can see all of the unsubscribes. Where is it? It's not shown here, but you can see the unsubscribes in a button basically down the bottom. So you can see exactly who has unsubscribed from your emails. So hopefully that answers Stephanie. And Natasha, hi, does that include people who are not matched? We will be able to match people to fundraisers. Will we be able to match people to fundraisers if they aren't connected for some reason? So matching is that the matching algorithm is a funny one. So matching, just in case anyone doesn't know what we're talking about, is if someone sets up a fundraiser, someone registers and then sets up their fundraiser later. We do have an additional feature within our forms now that's been live for maybe 8 or 9 months now at this stage, which we call the blended form. So people can register and fundraise with the click of one button. So there's no matching issues with those because they set up their fundraiser at the exact moment that they register. But we do have a button down the bottom, or a few words down the bottom where it says register but set up fundraiser later, because we need to give people the option to do that rather than scare them away from the entire process that they have to set up their fundraiser now. So what we need to do is run matching, and matching is run automatically within GivePanel, but then there's some manual matching that also needs to happen to match the registration to the fundraiser who set up maybe a few days later or a few weeks later, depending on when they want to do that. So it does include, so people who are not matched, if they've filled in the registration form and submitted their email address, everybody that has submitted their email address will receive this email, whether they're matched or unmatched. And you can use those triggers to none being that it goes to everybody, not matched goes to everybody who has not set up a fundraiser yet or not matched to a fundraiser yet, and then matched to everyone who has done all the good things at the right time and matched. So hopefully that answers your question, Natasha. Let me know if I haven't answered that properly though. Leanne, hi Leanne, how are you? Will there be other ways, where am I? Will there be other ways to segment other than by fundraising target, such as in-mem and non-in-mem? Rob, do you want to take that one?
I mean, I am the resident in-mem fan here. So right now, no, we haven't done anything specifically on in-mem, but what I would say is keep those ideas coming. We're always looking for what the next improvements could be, and how, yeah, we could help you raise more money doing that. So yeah, we're building out the foundations here to we can think about all these different use cases and work out which is the best one, which is the one that's going to drive the best ROI. So yeah, I think an in-mem one's good. In-mem is definitely something we'll be thinking about more and more in the future. We've done some tests on it and we've proven value there. So yeah, one to watch.
Yeah, and just Leanne has sort of put another piece in on that. Would you be able to segment based on action? So when they've clicked on a link, they get a different onward email.
Yeah, that's definitely on the list. That's not for this release. Release 1 was all about donation amounts. That was clearly the one that everyone was most excited about. So we prioritized that first, and then yeah, actions based on like link clicking and stuff you'd expect in an email. So 100%. That will be one we'll be looking at next.
Brilliant. Okay, we might hold some of these questions. We'll come back to them and maybe move on to the next bit, which is report builder. Trombone. You forgot the trombone.
Do you really want me to play my trombone? I'm not very good. Yeah,
they all thought I was joking. There we go.
It's the report builder sound. So I don't know if you all know, but report builder, you have it already if you're a GivePanel customer. It's your one-stop shop for getting your data out, keeping your database manager happy, and being able to customize your reports however you want, be that for a gift aid claim or just trying to get it into your CRM. It's in your account settings section under reports if you don't know. But what we've done here is we just thought we'd do a Brucey bonus. Thank you for the trombone, love, that I'm getting at the moment. Is we thought we'd just tell you about an improvement we've done to Report Builder. So we've had to increase its ability, essentially its efficiency, because so many people are getting so much data into GivePanel. We've had to kind of like just turn up the power on Report Builder. So we've done it now so that you should be able to export quicker and at higher volumes now, and that's more data over 50,000 rows. So I think Elsa's here from Macmillan. I know this is one that she'll love because yeah, we've talked about it. So yeah, if you're trying to do big exports now, it should be running much quicker than it was before. We've also, I think, this is the bit I like the most, is we've got registration data now in Report Builder. So previously you had to go export to CSV to get registrations out. When we originally built Report Builder, we didn't think you were going to want to take that registration data out, but we found people do want to use that. They do want to export that and use that in other ways. So now you can get your registrations data in your Report Builder, and then you can combine registration data with fundraising data. I know this will make database people happy. So because I've spoken to them. So that is, yeah, I mean, that we're all about driving, increasing your ROI and raising more money, but we have big love for database people. So we always try to keep them happy as well. So yeah, send them my regards. And that's the Report Builder update. Are there any questions on that at all, or thoughts, feelings, emotions, emoji reactions, or just blown away, I think? Yeah, okay, I'll move on then, unless anyone said anything. Big thumbs up.
We've got thumbs up, we've got fabs, we've got all that sort of stuff. You better get the trombone, because this is the next section where you're going to be tromboning us in.
Okay, I'll get
Do it, Rob. It needs to be something different.
It needs to be something different. Well, I'm not going to play
Any requests? Any requests?
That's just a that's the Zapier side. Oh my goodness. So something that let me just put this away. Okay, something that we built a while ago, but in a very small, simple way, was an integration into Zapier. We do have constant conflict internally if it's Zapier or Zapier, but I say Zapier. So
it's Zap, because you zap the data.
You don't zape the data, you zap the data.
You zap it.
So we had like a very simple, Zapier does make you happier, Faith, that's correct. We had a very simple Zapier integration into a Google Sheet. And we built that really for charities, third-party like integration with their fulfillment houses. Maybe they've got an agency that wanted to use it to do some email marketing or something. So we built a simple version that we wanted to get into people's hands and see how they use that. What we found is people really do like using Zapier, and I think fulfilling t-shirts is a good one. You can use it to extract data out straight away through Zapier, and then you can push it. You know, your fulfillment house can use the Zapier to push it through the fulfillment process really simply. So we've built Zapier out basically. We've built it beyond just a Google Sheet into something that's now embedded into Zapier. So you have to go through obviously the really kind of clear verification process in GivePanel to make sure that you can connect it to your Zapier account, and you have to pass over an API key, etc. But once you've done that, then you can go into Zapier and you can create endless zaps with your registration data. And there are like limitless things you can do with that data. It's quite exciting. If you haven't used it before, I suggest you go and have a look at Zapier, look at some ways that they suggest using it, and it might be something there that you never thought you could do. So yeah, I go and take a look. Jill, what's your favorite zap?
My favorite zap is actually for use within the Facebook challenge funnel, but outside of actually GivePanel. I like zapping the lead gen information out, and then basically doing VLOOKUPs and figuring out what leads are moving into what leads are ending up as fundraisers. So that's one way of so this is not a one trick pony tool, Zapier. It's something that can be used across your organization. So if there is a question on sort of like buying the Zapier software, there are many ways that it can be used. But I think the fulfillment agencies piece, I think they're going to be all basically a big sigh of relief when they don't have to sort of take the data out in one form, transfer it. It's all coming in straight to your CRM or straight to your fulfillment house, whoever needs it. Anything that can smooth out the fulfillment process, I think, is a plus.
And yeah, and like the email thing, the reason we build these things into the platform is less hassle, right? That's our strap line. So Zapier, email in the platform. We just know that makes your life easier, so you can focus on building those relationships, raising more money. That's what we're here for.
Excellent. And in the chat are very efficient marketing people are popping in, learn more about Zapier. So all of your information is there within the chat. But of course, you'll receive everything by email as well. So next steps, how to get involved. So basically, this is all here. I'm going to show you a screen in a minute where you can basically scan a QR code and you can just apply. There's an application form there where we'll get all the information from you. And basically, if you want to go down the route of the segmented email journey or Zapier or both, we can figure that out. So it is in beta, just to mention that again, the email journey is in beta. So we will be working with you. It's not open to everybody. You have to apply for it. And once you've applied, we'll be able to switch that on in your account. And Rob's team will be sort of observing how you're using it, the customer success team. So myself, Tom, and Faith will basically be talking to all of the customers just to see. We obviously have guidelines on how to use it. But as I said, we learn a lot of the expertise from all of you because you know exactly what your supporters want. And I suppose it's great that it's not a one size fits all in terms of how to use this for the moment. So report builder, is live and available. So you can basically jump in and get your data team playing around with that. Zapier is accessible now with an integration, and then you need to apply for the email journey. So let me go on to this. I won't go on to this yet. Let me answer some questions first, actually. But at the back of your mind, what I'd love you to be thinking about, I'm going to do another Slido, and we want you to tell us what else is, what's missing from GivePanel? What do you want? What keeps you up at night? What do you wake up, or when you're using it, you go, oh, I wish we could do this. Like, what are those things? Because Rob is the person to hear all of these things. You are in front of the person who can make your dreams come true. And no ask is too small or too big. It's not to say it will be delivered today or tomorrow, but we will absolutely have a look and see what can make GivePanel better. So I'll be asking you that question in a minute using the Slido. Okay, some questions. Will this become live now to use, and will it work on already active challenges? Oh, I don't know the answer to that. So someone's running an email journey already and they apply for it and they activate it. So if they have a live challenge for, what month are we now? A June challenge, will it work?
So the honest answer is I'm not sure, but I think it would, because it would be pulling that data from your database and in the way that it would, a live, if something comes in now versus something that's already in there, it'll be pulling that information. It's not, you have to apply for the beta though, just remind you, and then we'll have to kind of get you onto that program. So it's kind of very dependent on when that happens, I think, but when it does happen, I believe it would work on people already in that challenge.
Okay, cool. We touched off this. I might have complicated matters by mentioning non-challenge fundraisers and birthday fundraisers, but will something like this be available for birthday fundraisers in the future, Rob?
It's something that we've been reviewing quite a lot, and it's something that I know Jill would love, because she's told me like many times. And if you think it's easy to say no to Jill, it's really not that easy.
Well, I did get that one email. So the reason you have that one email is because I really pushed hard.
We have to be very not mean, but scrupulous about what we build. We've got a finite amount of resource, and we have to make sure what we build is the thing that's going to raise you the most money. So when we believe that it will raise the most money, putting this feature into birthdays, and we can prove that, then we'll build it. It's something we've thought about, we've looked at. We're not convinced on it yet, but we will keep looking. I think the stewardship area is an area we do want to improve. So we'll probably be looking at it quite soon.
Brilliant. Hello, Kerry, how are you? So will unsubscribers automatically be removed from future emails in that journey, and will we be able to see who is unsubscribing? Yes, there is a little box underneath that says unsubscribes, and all of your emails are in there, and they will be unsubscribed from all of the emails that have been built in that event. But if you're doing a May challenge and they've unsubscribed from emails about your walk 31 in May, and then they decide to do an October challenge, a dog walking in October, and then they fill in that form and they go on that journey, they won't be unsubscribed from that journey because it's deemed a different event. So they'll be talked to about the dog journey rather than the walk journey. So I hope that answers your question. Will we still have the option for normal messaging to the fundraising page as well as the email? Oh yes, absolutely. So this is an add-on. This is not an either or. So you will still be able to, some of our customers are using SMS. So we have a new SMS feature that you may or may not be aware of, but that can be turned on within your account, and we can activate that for you. The email journey will need to be turned on in your account if it's not turned on already, but the on-page messaging that you do, that thanking and that engagement and the data capture perhaps that you're doing with your non-challenge fundraisers, it doesn't impact any of that. So you can do it all. And we encourage you to do it all. That omni-channel sort of drip feed of information is what makes people do the action that you want them to do. So you hear something once, you may think about doing it. You hear something 3 times, you might actually do it. So hopefully that answers your question. Hold on, the dog needs to go out. 1 second. Teddy, where's Bill?
Teddy.
Go on. No. He'll go in a minute. Sorry. What's a webinar without Teddy? Natasha. Oh, no, sorry. With APIs to CRMs, we could probably send similar emails, but this seems so convenient. Should we plan to turn emails from CRMs off is this better?
I would say it's up to you. We had the same thought that we thought, oh, we won't build the email tool out because you'll want to use your own email tool, MailChimp or whatever, and your CRM thing. But what we learned was that actually takes quite a lot of work to organize that internally. And you've got an ever growing list of things you need to do. So we thought that we'd take that hassle away from you and build it into the tool. And that has had overwhelming success. So yeah, it's up to you and where, how your organization works, but we know that lots of charities love our email tool because it makes it easier for the charity to get this, happening, because you can just do it quickly in GivePanel.
Excellent. Hope that answers that question. Marie has asked, she said, I don't really use Report Builder. Is there anywhere to see best practices in this area? I'm so glad you asked. Yes, there is. So when you log into your GivePanel account, where you see your name on the top right-hand corner, as the user who's using the account, just underneath that, it says support and help. And our team, the customer success team, the product team, the support team, have spent hours and hours basically building in resources into that section. So if any of you ever get stuck in any part of GivePanel, always that should be your first port of call. And they're not long and labored pieces. A lot of them have quick Loom videos. You might see myself or Rob or the customer success team doing a quick video on how to do something, but you'll find all of your answers in there. There is actually a report builder section in there that you can just get all of your information from. And so that should be your first port of call. And if not, just reach out to myself or Tom or Faith, and we can certainly sit down and go through that with you. Beth, if you already have access to the email journey, will this update be automatically applied to your profile? No, it won't, Beth. You're going to have to apply for it. So I'm going to show a screen. Actually, let me put that up now. I'm going to show a screen. We'll move on from that. We'll come back. Scan this code, and you will be able to basically fill in that form, and you'll be able to get access to the application form. And then we behind the scenes will upload all of the information, get in touch if we have any further questions, and get that live in your account for you. So you can have a play. Another person, can I just double check, is a segmented journey available for automated journeys, or would they need to be sent manually? Automated journeys. So nothing is manual. You may be mixing it up with the SMS. At the moment, SMS is manually done, and we're obviously doing work behind the scenes on making that segmented as well. So this is automated. So you build out the email journey at the beginning of your event. So before your ads go live, and before people start coming into the group, before they get access to the registration form, basically that email journey is built out. And you basically just let it run itself. And then of course you can jump in, like you can change your mind. You can decide that you want to send a triggered email one day before the challenge starts, or something could happen in your locality or close to your cause that you want to actually communicate with everybody, and you can send that email. But we advise you just try and build it out in the structure that we advise, and then you can add to them if you want to in the middle. And then, can fundraisers reply to the emails, and where does the reply go? i.e., is it viewed in GivePanel or the email inbox of someone with a GivePanel account? So when you build out your email, you have a from email and a to email. So the from email could be jill@givepanel.com. And the to email, as in the response email. So if I'm responding, if Rob is doing a challenge, he receives an email from jill@givepanel.com. Sorry, I'll use a charity, jill@mentalhealthireland.com, because he's doing the challenge with Mental Health Ireland. But I've decided that I do not want 2,000 people to be emailing me with all these questions and whatever that back and forth might look like. So I can put a return email in as fundraising or social media at mentalhealthireland.com. So you get to decide who the email, who the replies come into, and you manage that inbox yourself. So that is an inbox within your email. It's not actually as in your Google email, your Gmail, what are the other emails? Outlook, whatever it is that you use for your emails. So that's the replies aren't managed within GivePanel. Hopefully that. Is there a deadline we have to apply by? Yes, if you don't apply by 3 o'clock, nobody gets it. No, there's no deadline. You can basically click on this link, scan it, have a look, the marketing team will pull together an email with all of this information in it at the end of this webinar. It'll be sent out to everybody that has applied to attend. I know not everybody can attend all the webinars they want to come to for various reasons. So everybody who basically said, yes, I'm interested, will get this email with all of these links so that you can apply. So you have plenty of time to do that. There's no rush. Lucy, hi Lucy, how are you? Yes, there is a recording. Happy to send that on. That's no problem. Regarding seeing things 3 times. Yep, no, I think the more you see something, that's why people run concurrent sort of radio ads with PR and then with print ads and TV, because you have to sort of see things a few times in order to take action. Anything else? Oh, Natasha was following up actually. I might take this one with you directly, but she was wondering, it was more for the targeted money ones. So this is if they're not matched, maybe they used a different email or something. We know that, especially in Ireland, we understand matching because you can have a Facebook name in Irish, like Oscoelga, and then you fill in the form in your English name. So yeah, matching can be difficult. So sorry, it was more for the targeted money ones. So if they're not matching, maybe using a different email, how can we make sure they get the right targeted email? So do you have an answer for that, Rob, or will I take that off?
I think let's take it offline. I think I understand it, but I want to kind of dig into it a bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah, before I say anything that 100%.
Yeah. Perfect. So I think they're all the questions. I'll come back to this Scan Me, but what I want to do first, whoops, where are we, is jump into this Slido, please. So what we want to do is basically anything and everything that would make your lives easier using GivePanel, not just an email, in everything. Rob was like, I'm going to have all the customers, and he loves having time with all of the customers. It is his favorite thing to do, especially database managers. So if you have any database managers that want to have a chat, Rob is your man. Definitely. So please do jump in. Anything that's missing, anything that you'd like I know off the top of my head what I would like to see. And I've put forward some of this information as well. So the more information we have here, the more chances of it basically happening, because this will then go into a list. The product team will look at it and take it away and figure out a new trombone. Oh, a tuned in trombone, or maybe a tuned trombone lessons. So yeah, keep them coming. Keep them coming. I'm just seeing if there's any questions floating around in the chat. No, you're all very good at putting your messages in. 15 questions, not bad. Manual matching, deleting
It's
labels.
automatically uploaded day by day. We were just talking about that. That's interesting. I'll write that one down, definitely.
You'll have access to all of these as well. Ability to delete labels, identify self-donators as a segment. Oh, I like that.
The self-donators one is definitely one in there, yeah, that we were thinking about for the emails. Like, is there a way we could do a trigger based on self-donate? People who self-donated. So I'm glad to see that one there again, just to kind of validate that we're thinking in the right way. That's good.
Oh, an easier way to remove fundraisers after people drop out.
Oh, we've got an API to upload payments into Salesforce. So if you're interested in an API, rob@givepanel.com, we'll get you or whoever to the access to the API and get them set up, whoever that was.
See when a page has closed easily during a challenge. Yeah. Oh, I have the power to scroll through this. Amazing. Add labels en masse rather than individual. Yes, that is something that I am championing on behalf of our very small support team, because I know it's something that we can do, but it's a bit of a time suck. So if the customers can do that. Buttons, what does buttons mean?
I think it's chocolate buttons. I
think it's chocolate buttons. Cadbury's chocolate. I wonder, is it like Milky Way buttons, or hopefully it's the chocolatey ones. Buttons, yeah. Tell us what buttons means. Mass on-page messaging has come in as well. Oh, a few more questions have come in too. Let's see what's up at the top of this. Birthday emails, flag fundraisers with total amount different on GP, on Facebook. Why? Yeah. Okay, we'll just let this tick away, and we've got a few more minutes left. We have more questions in. Are real-time donations now available? Is there a guarantee that real-time will work with segmenting? So yes, real-time donations are available now, as long as you're using GivePanel's one-click fundraiser. So it doesn't work if you're for your non-challenge fundraisers, or if you're using Facebook's URL to basically to generate those challenge fundraisers. So with Facebook, with GivePanel's one-click fundraiser, they come in live. And yes, we can, well, again, it's in beta. This is going to be in beta. So the plan is most definitely that we can rely on the real-time donation giving us the right information and for that to work smoothly. And if it doesn't, you can give out to Rob. That's no problem. You all have his email address. When you share the slides, will you also be able to send the email journey template? Yes, we can add that in. Yeah, there's a template that we can add in. Now the email journey template for the segmentation hasn't been worked out yet. So we have the email template for the current journey. So that's no problem. We can send that out, and then we can work on what the template will look like. Mass on-page messaging, that's something for here. Brilliant. Which CRMs do the API you've made speak to? So what APIs, what CRMs does it work with?
It can work with any CRM, but you will need someone to build it to that CRM. We don't have a plugin for, like, say, Salesforce or Donify or whoever you're using. We haven't built any plugins yet. So yeah, you'll need someone who can use APIs to configure it.
So Lucy was talking, when she said buttons, it wasn't chocolate buttons. Very, very disappointing. Yeah. Lucy, what she meant was buttons in emails, but she's also here for the chocolate buttons. More info on Instagram donations.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mass messaging on pages, have an all-time date range button. Yes, I have asked for that. So yeah. I will be putting this list in most definitely, but this is brilliant. So just keep these coming, and we can close up a little bit earlier if there aren't any more questions, but we're here for any questions that you might have. Click rates for different links if more than one in emails. A/B testing for email journeys, interesting.
Love to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm loving all these suggestions. We've also got somewhere, if you wanted to ever suggest a new feature, we've got a link that I'll get Jill to send around, where you can add in any features that you want, and then we'll review that. So in like 3 months' time, you might go, oh, I've got it. I know what I want to tell Rob. Well, there's a link, and you can find it on our website where you can see what people are voting for. That's called Beamer. So I'll get Jill to send that, so that if you can't think of it now, but you think of it later, you can send over that feature request and product team will get that.
Perfect. We have another question in as well. If we have problems setting up our email domain to work with the segmented journey, can we get your help speaking with our IT people? Yes, so there's an application. There's an application. You will fill in an application form, and we are here, our support team are here to basically get you set up. We use an email provider called SendGrid, which sits within GivePanel, so we can work with your IT provider to get that set up. I would say 9 times out of 10, it's completely seamless and it works really, really quickly and really, really well. And then that 1 time out of 10, it just means there are a couple of hoops your side that maybe your IT team want to dive into and have a look at. But we've never had anyone have any problem in not being able to set it up at all.
We've got a secret weapon as well. Our head of customer success used to work at an email company, an email tech company. So he's like an absolute wizard. So yeah, if the IT people want to talk to our wizard, they're very welcome.
Absolutely. Lee will love to think of himself as a wizard. Okay, let me move on to this. So we will let you go. Thank you so much for all of the questions, and thank you so much for all that feedback at the end as well. Because as I mentioned, like, we want to build a platform that works for you, and the ultimate goal is to make your lives easier and also help you raise more money. So as Rob said earlier on, we dive into everything, every possibility to figure out, will it help you raise more money? Bottom line, we're all for making your lives easier, but something could make your lives easier that takes the product team out of another project and building something that you go, oh, my life is so much easier, but you're not raising more money from it. So that is what we keep our eye on mostly. So scan the QR code, fill it in, we'll send you an email. You'll have all the links, you'll have everything that you need. It'll come from Alex and Kat in marketing. And I think I just saw Rob pick up a trombone.
Shall I say a final trombone exit? And
Yes.
then ears will be forever returned to normal. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for your time.